and then let's start. Namaste, I am Aarti Jaikumar. I am your host for this event today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you here for this event on the birth anniversary of our dear Sir Sri TKV Desikachar. I request all of you now to please sit down comfortably, gently close your eyes. We'll begin with a prayer.
Sir used to always say that prayer is a good time to allow all the latecomers to come. So we'll do this slowly. Okay. And you all must know the prayer so you can chant, muting yourself. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram munina patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abhapurushaakaram shankhachakrasидharinam सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णवागीशयतीश्वराभ्यां सम्प्राप्तचक्राङ्कणभाष्यसारम् श्रीनूत्नरङ्गेन्द्रयतौ समर्पितस्वं श्रीकृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमीडे विरोधे कार्तिके मासे शतताराकृतोदयं योगाचार्यं कृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमहं भजे। Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.
Thank you, ma'am. I once again welcome all of you to the surprise launch of the Yoga Sadhana workbook part 1 titled Tapas. I now humbly request our teacher Saras ma'am to please share the spirit behind this workbook, the intention behind its creation.
Thank you, Aarti. I would first like to speak a few words about our teacher Desikachar. So more than the International Yoga Day, this day is very special for all of us because it is his birthday. And I was just talking to Jyotsna the other day, and I don't remember, as long as I was in KYM, that we have ever celebrated Desikachar's birthday. In fact, we didn't know his birthday. And I don't know, somehow, he's been such a powerful link, a powerful connection for all of us. And true to the way he defined yoga, that yoga is a relationship. He's left behind so many beautiful friends, more than anything else. Many of us, like today we have Vijivasu here, Jyotsna here, Lakshmi ma'am will be joining soon. So We are friends for life, and he just left behind so many beautiful, good friends as a community, and that's perhaps the greatest gift that he has left for all of us. It also reminds me that this whole idea of building a relationship, nurturing relationships and sustaining it is an effort that all of us have to make. In today's digital world, everything is moving so fast. Even this launch, we are doing it online, and all of us are sitting in little boxes far away, right? But the value of actually coming together, even if it is virtual, coming together and making this connection is so important. And I'm sure, sir, wherever he is, he will be smiling and happy that we are all connected today, we are all together today. And the way he defined Shraddha as Vishwasam, it's a special breath of one of comfort, one of love and joy that we are able to feel when we are together. Vishwasam also means Shraddha. So, this special breath, with this special breath, I would really like to invite Vijivasu and Jyotsna to join me with some chanting. So, we have chosen Laghunyasam and the first few sutras from the Sadhana Pada. We are going to be chanting together, of course, because it's online, we will do one at a time. And please join us if you are familiar with the text. Yeah. Thank you. So, Aarti, can you pin Vichi ma'am, Jyotsna?
Yes, ma'am.
अग्निर्मे वाची श्रुतः जी shall I do start?
वाग्हृदये हृदयं मयि
अहम अमृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि वायुर्मे प्राणे श्रुतः
प्राणो हृदये
हृदयं मयि अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
सूर्यो मे चक्षुषि श्रितः चक्षुर्हृदये
हृदयं मयि
अहममृते ब्रह्मणि
चन्द्रमा मे मनसि श्रुतः
नो हृदये हृदयं मयि
अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि दिशो मे श्रोत्रे श्रुताः
श्रोत्रगुं हृदये
हृदयं मयि अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
आपो मेरितसि श्रिताः रेतो हृदये
हृदयं मयि
अहमृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
पृथिवी मे शरीरे श्रुता
शरीरगुं हृदये हृदयं मयि
अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि ओषधि वनस्पतयो मे लोमसु श्रुताः
लोमानि हृदये
हृदयं मयि अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
इन्द्रो मे बले श्रितः बलगुं हृदये
हृदयं मयि
अहममृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
पर्जन्यो मे मूर्ध्नि श्रुतः
हृदये हृदयं मयि
अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि ईशानो मे मन्यौ श्रुतः
मन्योर्हृदये
हृदयं मयि अहममृते
अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
आत्मा आत्मनिश्रितः आत्मा हृदये
हृदयं मयि
अहममृते अमृतं ब्रह्मणि
पुनर्म आत्मा पुनरायुरागात्
पुनः प्राण पुनराकूतमागात् वैश्वानरो रश्मिभिर्वावृधानः
अन्तस्तिष्ठत्वमृतस्य गोपाः Sir loved chanting so much, and it has been a great source of healing and connection for many of us. The connection with him, with the teachings, and most importantly, with ourselves. And for me, chanting has always brought me gently back to myself. And this is usually when, when you're overcome with obstacles. Whenever I've met Sir in those situations, he would simply say, I will chant for you. He wouldn't ask any questions, what happened, nothing. He would just simply say, I'm going to chant for you. And he will chant for 20 minutes or so. And I'd feel very calm and peaceful, and I would walk. So it really helped me to find the inner resources to overcome obstacles. And of course, what we are launching today is a very, very small book. It's a workbook. My friend Mala keeps reminding me that it is not your book, it is a workbook. Okay, it's a very small step in the direction of wanting to really write and uh, share all that I have learned with Desikachar and many other teachers, and I continue to learn. It's just a small attempt, and many obstacles came in the way. The original idea was born like almost 2 years ago when I was sitting in my house in the village with Lekha, and on a Sunday morning, and Lekha said, I have this idea. So we've been co-facilitating Yoga Sadhana for quite a while, and she said, why don't we bring out a Yoga Sadhana workbook with practices for people for the whole year, 365 days, which is um, quite a big task, like 13 months almost, yeah. So it took many shapes, many forms, many different iterations, and it has come to a certain form. And many people have been part of this, have contributed to this work in a very generous way. The real work actually happened perhaps in the last 1 or 2 months, putting together everything and editing and all of that. So, first, I really wanted to acknowledge the people who have been part of this work, thank them for contributing, and then I will speak a little bit about the work itself. Aarti, can you share the slide? So the first person I really want to thank is my husband, Sundar, because his dream was that I should write a book. He said, okay, you've written something, but this is not the book, but it's okay, it's a good start. And he has been really the motivation behind me, and the support that he has offered in all forms for us to bring this book out. Till yesterday, I wasn't even sure that we'll have a hard copy with us, but today we have it, thanks to Sundar and his beautiful team who have helped us. Aarti, are you sharing?
The cover page, ma'am.
No, the acknowledgements.
Ah,
Right.
yes, ma'am.
And then, of course, Lekha, who really is instrumental in bringing this out. Um, so she made an Excel sheet and she said, this is what will go into the workbook and this is what we can do. Little did I know what was in store for me. It started with saying, okay, we have to just make so many practices, so many weeks, so many months, and this will be the theme. But as I started writing, so much happened, particularly when I got to the last 4 5 weeks, I got really stuck. And I had to truly um, meditate on what this Ishvara Pranidhana is to uh, go forward with this. Mala, my friend, has been in some way like a sutradhar. She has, from the time I shared about this book, she would constantly remind me almost every week, what have you done? Have you progressed? What is happening? Can you go to the village and do some work quietly? How can I help? And she has been part of this work. I just can't tell you, it's her whole heart and soul has been in this. And I am so grateful to you, Mala. You are there, no? Can you wave? Okay.
Very much here, very much here.
Yeah, thank you, Mala. And Mala's husband, Chinna, many of you know Chinna, he's from the first batch of yoga therapists from Yoga Vahini. Both of them are communication experts, so they have really helped me shape this book into the form that it is now. The work is not over, just the first volume of 3 volumes that we are bringing out now. And my dear friend Jyotsna. So I brought this to Jyotsna maybe 3 weeks ago, and we have spent several days together, very joyfully editing every line, every word of the text. And Jyotsna's editing ability and her, of course, the mastery over the subject, having studied with Desikachar for so many years, really helped me to find the right language to express what I wanted to express in a very crisp manner. Yeah, because a workbook cannot become a book. Thank you, Jyotsna. And then maybe the last week, I brought it to Vijivas. I consider her as the expert in post plan. So I said, I want you to look at my course plans and give me feedback to really see if I am in the right direction. And thank you, Vijay ma'am, for really going through everything and meticulously, looking at very fine details and helping me to make the course plans a little better. Thank you. Now, there's one person without whom I don't think this workbook would have come out in this form at all, and that is Tarini. Tarini, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Tarini. So, I think around September last year, I was asking her, I want to bring out this workbook. So, how do you make your drawings? Because I've seen the way she works with her students and make the drawings on an app. So, she introduced me to that Good Notes app, and I started experimenting with drawing. And of course, it took a long time. And I realized if I'm going at this pace, I'm not going to finish the book maybe in 10 years. So I asked her help whether she can do the drawings for me. And she took it upon herself. And I've not seen anybody work with this kind of meticulous attention to detail. And I don't know how many times I've asked her to go back. I have come back to her with corrections, to change the form, the angle, the nose, the fingers, the words, the spacing. And Tarini has, put up with me very patiently and done all the corrections more than what I expected. Thank you, Tarini, for your diligence and perfection. Then we had to bring it to a form, right? So this is where Ranjit comes. Ranjit, are you there? Thank you, Ranjit. Ranjit is along with Sundar. He is working with Sundar in Aramara. And Ranjit has been helping us with a lot of work, the back end. And this book and the way he has done the cover design and the layout, the text, of course, many iterations of corrections. Thanks to Ranjit's patience, and we are able to bring it to this form. Thank you, Ranjit. Aarti, our host for today. Aarti has really helped me in a very fundamental way, very important way, gathering people, a lot of people from our community, and taking these practices to them, sharing the practices. Each person in this group, I will share their names soon, were given one or two practices, and they have to do it. They had to time it, and they had to give us feedback. And Karthi coordinated the whole thing. So many times she has really worked individually with many people to gather all this information and share it with me so that I can bring it back to Tarini and we can do the changes and the corrections. Thank you, Aarti.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pratima, are you there, Pratima?
Yes, I'm there.
Thank you, Pratima. So I discovered when we were doing the Sangama souvenir that she had an extraordinary skill for detailing. She will never let Ranjit go with even a minor mistake, even a dot or a slash not there. She'll say, no, I want that done. So I roped in Pratima to go through the text and italicize and put the diacritical marks for all the words, and she did a wonderful job. Thank you, Pratima.
Thank you.
Is Sangeeta here? Sangeeta is not working with us anymore, but she is in Bangalore with S. Vyasa. And Sangeeta has this very unique skill of going through practice sheets because she usually used to draw all the practice sheets for our courses and even for the Sangama souvenir. And she can, spot minute mistakes that needs to be changed, corrected. So we roped in Sangeeta to do that work. And thank you, Sangeeta, wherever you are, for your meticulous work. Then Divya, Gunjan have again come back to the final draft. Mala, of course, to look for any things that needs to be changed. And thank you, Divya. Gunjan, are you there? Both of you are there. Can you show yourself? Okay. It's so beautiful because everybody has a different skill that we could come together, bring together to make something better and better. And then our staff, Bhavani and Ranjani. Bhavani, can I see you? So I just have to tell Bhavani something and she will get it done. Okay, the proofs and coordinating with people, all of that. Ranjani, where are you? Ranjani is here. You're joining from your phone. Thank you for really holding the space and taking care of everything in the back end so that I can peacefully do this work, including all the writing that I did in the farm where Ranjani took care of everything. The next slide.
Thank you.
There's one more slide, I think. You're showing that? Yeah. Now you can see this whole list of people who have done the practices and given us feedback so that we were able to make the practices better. Aarti, Apurva, Deepti, Divya, Eniko, Gunjan, Jyoti, Kamala, Kirtana, Krishnaveni, Lakshmi, Mamta, Anupama, Mrinalini, Padmaja, Pushkala, Radhika, Ramya, Ranjita, Robin, Sangeeta, Shakuntala, again Tarini, Varalakshmi, and Veronica. Thank you all for doing the practices and giving us feedback so that we can shape this better. So remember, all these people worked on all the different practices that we have planned for the whole year. But this particular volume that we are releasing now is only for the first 4 months, 16 weeks of practice. I'm going to ask Lekha to share a little bit about the structure of the Yoga Sadhana workbook. Before that, I want to really share with you this intent behind it. For me, I realized over a period of time, as we continue to and as we're working with a lot of training programs, training yoga teachers, training yoga therapists. Of course, in our tradition, every teacher has a teacher, that teacher has a teacher, that teacher has a teacher. So there's a whole chain, right? And so in the training, the students are given mentors who will give them their personal practice and guide them through their training. But we do see with the busyness of the training program and the targets we have to achieve, the assessments and the certificate at the end of it, what suffers the most is personal practice. Yeah, and when somebody is in training, unlike in those days where we would have already practiced yoga for some time before we got into a teacher training program, today people get into a teacher training program to actually establish a practice. And then it is 2 years or 3 years, and even by the end of the term, the practice is not so well established, right? So we realized that group classes are beneficial. And I'm so inspired by Vijay Vasu, who has been running regular group classes from the COVID time, Monday to Friday, every day, 2 batches. And many of people in our community have been running group classes as well. And this is really helping us to come back to a regular practice, right? Now, when does that become your own practice? Is when it is personalized for you. When you're able to see that this is the right practice for me, and for that I need to go back to my teacher. And all of us went back to Desikachar or our teacher in the tradition who would give us a practice, and we would go back to them periodically so that they can check, review the practice, see where we are at that point of time, what do we really need, and offer a practice that is appropriate for us. But starting with a group practice, starting with a more generic practice is a good starting point, and this workbook is for that. And like my friend Mala put in 2 statements very clearly, this workbook is to bring you back to your mat every day. And it is also meant to take you away from your mat, take yoga beyond the mat, not away, beyond the mat. Yeah. So how do you come to the mat, do your practice every day, and then how do you also bring yoga into all other aspects of your daily life? So we took the theme Kriya Yoga, how to bring yoga into your everyday life, and uh, we designed the practices based on tapas, swadhyaya, and Ishvara pranidhana. Starting with tapas, that is what this volume is about. So um, the focus was to really bring you back to your practice and to be able to develop some curiosity, right? Sir always stressed upon your practice and stressed upon how to combine practice with philosophy. So it is only through him that we learned. All of you are familiar with the Heart of Yoga book, right? Like he would say that the student in their very first class should experience yoga, they should taste yoga. And that is the job of a teacher, right? So the definitions of yoga, all of that is meant for us to experience a practice, through that understand what is yoga. And that has been the intention of this workbook. I'm going to ask Lekha now. No, I'm going to launch the book. Yeah, that's the first thing, and then Lekha will share about the structure. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me share my screen. Oh, before going to the screen, maybe I'll show the one hard copy that I have. So this is the Yoga Sadhana workbook, volume 1, tapas. I can hear you clap. Okay. So it's just 64 pages, 16 weeks of practice with guidelines. I'm going to now share the screen to show you the e-version of the book. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am. Clearly.
Yeah. The contents, we have the introduction, why this book, who's this book for, what is practice. I'm just going to go through this, and so it's a beautiful image depicting tapas done by Mala. And yeah,
Can you please
the
show
highlight
the
is
cover once?
beautiful drawings that Tarini has made. So each month, each week, we have a focus.
Can you please show the cover page once?
Ah, can you see? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Lekha, you can start talking. Maybe I can just.
Thank you, Saras. Before I share the structure of the book, I wanted to actually share where the idea came from. So many of us at some point in our journey um, have that one moment where we look at our yoga mat and think, I will practice tomorrow. And the mat just sits there waiting in one corner of our house. And we do our best to avoid looking at that corner. Yeah, been there, done that. And that is why I am absolutely delighted to have my hands on the first volume of this Yoga Sadhana workbook. I feel like it's a friend that's just as patient as your yoga mat, but hopefully it's a little more motivating and a little more inspiring. So, this three-part workbook series is inspired by the very first line of the Yoga Sutra, Atha Yoga Anushasanam. I remember being in a Yoga Sutra session and where 4 teachers went on and on about Atha and actually scared the living daylights out of me because they kept asking, "Are you ready? Are you ready now?" And I remember going back to sleep that night and waking up in the middle of the night and saying, "I'm not very sure I'm ready." So that is the moment when I realized that this word, the first word of Yoga Sutra, Atha, is very profound. And with time, the same 4 teachers held me. So with time, I realized that Atha doesn't mean when you are ready, when you're more flexible, when your life is all sorted and perfect. It says now, right here, exactly as you are with all your inconsistencies, your doubts, your questions. Are you ready? And I have been there many, many times. I've been there where I have started my practice with a lot of enthusiasm and then life happened. I missed a day, then 2 days, and then suddenly I'm negotiating with myself. Do I really need to practice today? Right? And there have been other times when I have had a consistent practice, but then I'm wondering, is this taking me somewhere meaningful? Am I just getting better at touching my toes? Or is there something deeper that is happening, which is what, one is promised when one studies Yoga Sutras, right? And all these questions essentially left this deep longing, not just for physical flexibility, I would love that, but for something that touches every aspect of my life, not just what I do on the mat. And as always, whenever I have a problem, I take it to Saras. That this has been my life strategy for the last 15 years. Have a problem, go to Saras, right? So that's what I did. And I think she picked up that question and created this very beautiful workbook, which I believe um, exists to honor that longing that is there in all of us and to provide a friend, a Sakhi on this journey. So, like Saras said, this is a 3-part workbook. It is inspired by Kriya Yoga, inspired by the 3 pillars of Kriya Yoga. So, tapas, consistent practice that purifies the body, purifies the senses, purifies the mind. Not something very harsh, not an external discipline, but some steady, gentle fire, like the flame of a lamp that enlightens our path. Swadhyaya, the self-study, reflection, anything that helps us to see ourselves clearly and honestly without any judgment. Ishvara Pranidhana, offering all our actions to something that is greater than our own individual will. Showing up, doing your best, whatever is best on that particular day, and letting go of the results. So as you go through this workbook, you start realizing that these are not just intellectual ideas, these are not concepts, these are practical tools for everyday life. And every volume in this series takes you through 4 months of practice, that is 16 weeks of practice. And each volume helps you to really deepen our understanding of each of these pillars. And together, the 3 books create a complete year-long companion for one's practice. And I feel what is special about this book is that it does not treat the 3 pillars of Kriya Yoga as separate practices. It weaves it together very organically, very naturally. So when you're working on the first volume, which has practices around the theme of tapas, you're also developing awareness. So Swadhyaya is happening. And when you actually practice consistently, you naturally start seeing how all beings are interconnected, how everything is interconnected. And slowly, the need to control outcomes starts weakening. So Ishvara Pranidhana kind of creeps in on you when you're not watching. So the first volume that we are launching today is focused on tapas. And in the context of tapas, we look at tapas in 4 different ways: that which brings light and clarity, that which transforms patterns, old samskaras, burning away what doesn't serve me, and also allowing the ripening of some samskaras and falling away of those old patterns of thinking, acting, and being. So every week you stay with one practice, right? And the practice involves asana, pranayama, and meditative practices. And each of the practice runs about 40 minutes. And as you work with a workbook, classical definitions of yoga are also interwoven. And again, these are not like theoretical concepts. The definitions of yoga is presented as living practices with great relevance to our everyday life. You got a sneak preview of how beautifully the practices are drawn. So there are clear instructions that accompany the practice, and the drawings are beautiful. I think they're just a joy to just look at them. But there is something that is very important that I want to mention here. For a beginner practitioner, our recommendation is that you work with the book along with the qualified teacher in this tradition. This is not a DIY book, by the way. Yeah. This is simply a companion, a guide, something that enables us to go back to the mat, inspires us. But every body is different, every human being is different. Postures may need to be modified, breath may need to be worked on. So it would be a very good idea that you work with a teacher if you're a beginner practitioner. This book complements the relationship with a teacher. It is not meant to replace a teacher in your life. Yeah. And the beauty of the way this book is structured is that every week you're staying with one practice for a full week. This for me is very important. Staying with something for a week, or I would say even longer, because today the world that we live in is a world of constant flux. There is constant change, constant stimulation, and staying with something for a period of time may feel very unnatural. But what it really does is it enables our attention to move from what is obvious, what is gross, to something that is very subtle. And if you actually do the practice, by day 3 or day 4, it's not just that you have learned the sequence of the asana, but you start discovering, what is it teaching me about my own body? What is it teaching me about my breath, about the nature of who I am? What is it teaching me about my ability to be patient, or my resistance, or my ability to surrender? So it will, the same practice, as you do it again and again and again, it will start teaching you more and more about yourself. And the whole idea is not to learn yoga, but to actually learn more about yourself. And by choosing one practice, even if you choose to stay for it for a month, it will gradually help deepen our own understanding of ourselves, and our tendency to seek something new every once in a while, that kind of gets weakened. One of the things that really accompany these practices as a constant thread is journaling. A lot of us struggle with journaling, but journaling is a very integral part of how this book is structured. And just checking in before you practice, sitting quietly after the practice, and just writing a word, maybe a doodle, anything, to just observe how am I feeling at the end of this practice. We are hoping that this simple act of journaling before and after the practice will become a compass. It will help us recognize patterns that otherwise may go unnoticed. This book is actually, in some sense, a fruit of Saras's many, many decades of practice and teaching and watching all of us. And whatever she has learned and understood from teaching us and from her own practice. And I feel like the real question that she has addressed is not if are we getting more strong, more flexible. That of course happens when you have a consistent practice. But the real question, I think, is, am I experiencing sukham and stiram in not just my postures when I'm on the mat, but in my daily life, in my relationships, in the way I show up to life? And I think that is where the real beauty of this book lies. It's not just a random collection of practices. It is something that promises to shift something within each of us. And on the way, we hope that we'll build a relationship with our body, a relationship with our breath. We will also stop rushing through life and learn to savor each moment fully before we let it go. And when we do let it go, we let it go fully. And I think that if this book is practiced with consistently, it will change the way we handle stress. It will change the way we listen to others. It will change the way how we make decisions and the way we live our life. So that is the promise of this book. And I'm really excited uh, to actually see how many of us are able to not just practice along with it, but actually come back, share, and learn from each other. I remember when Saras, before she started Yoga Vahini, I remember having a conversation with her and I asked her, what are you trying to build? And she told me that her dream was very simple. I want to build a community of practitioners who practice together daily, who journal their experiences, who learn from each other, who hold each other through this path and study together. So this is what she said. And it's my dream now. And that of, I think, a lot of teachers in this community, that we try and curate a program around this workbook to do exactly that, to actually create that community of practitioners. And the reason why I believe that this matters is because in traditional settings, yoga was never meant to be practiced in isolation. There was always a sangha. There was always a community that supported each other, that held each other. And today, many of us practice, in the privacy of our living rooms or bedrooms, or even in group classes where we barely speak to each other. And I feel that that is something that we are really missing, that sense of connection, that sense of knowing that I am not alone on this journey, that whatever I am going through, somebody has already gone through it, and there will be many others who will walk this path and will go through the same thing. And just imagine this: you roll out your mat each morning and you know that others are also rolling out their mats, that others are also doing the same practice, that they are breathing consciously, they are moving mindfully, they are reflecting honestly in their journals. There's a strength that comes from this shared commitment. There's a sense of gentle accountability that supports. It's not a pressure, but it is very supportive. And we are hoping that this community can then come back, gather every month, and just study and share and explore what else is there. Like, what else is there for us to uh, dive deeper, and, probably we'll have great insights. So this ancient tradition of community practice is what I hope this workbook will inspire and will create. Back to the workbook, like I mentioned.
Rekha,
Yeah.
sorry, you're going to go to the next thing, is it?
Yeah.
Um, can I
Yeah. Sure.
interrupt? So I'll come back to you. Maybe I'll ask. I just want to invite a few people to share a few words, and then I will hand it over back to Rekha. Um, Mala, where are you?
Yeah, yeah, Saras.
Yeah, can you please share a few words? I called you the
Uh,
Sutradhar of this.
right. Well, um, very quickly, I would just say that um, such a paradox that just when, by the way, disclaimer, I'm not a yoga practitioner. I speak as usual as a friend of Saras. So the paradox was that the last time we met as a group, Yoga Vahini stakeholders, Saras was actually trying to step back, step away. So the paradox is this: I think with most of us that happens just when we want to drop everything and walk away is when we have a deeper engagement. So this workbook is one of those. Is when she said, "Ala vidupana, kalambare, I'm going to go into my farm and sit there like a hermit," is when the book was actually born. So now I think the engagement is going to be deeper and more fulfilling because this is a kind of a detached attachment. So she's put it all out there in the book, and then she's putting it out there for the practitioners. Exactly what she wants, which is get everyone to start experiencing it on a daily basis and spread the word and spread that experience. So I think that way it's a beautiful thing to have been born. And I am so sorry for nudging you and forcing you
Thank you. Thank
through
you.
the past months. She could have unfriended me. It had become that bad at some points. I must appreciate the openness with which she took all the suggestions, uh, the true reflection of a seeker is to understand that your learning can come from anywhere. Epiphanies happen anytime from anywhere. So she would take a suggestion, criticism, or an input from any corner. And that is what gives all of us the strength to just speak up and point out things or, nudge, Sarah. So I admire that quality about you. And I think I wish this book all success. And I think for her, on a personal level, the success will be when I start practicing myself. All the best.
Thank you, Mala. Thank you. Over to Tarini.
Hi, Sawdust. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. And I was getting a little tear in my eye when I could see the cover. Right now is the first time I could see it. And it's just come together so beautifully. And uh, all those little feet, guys. How many times we changed the little size of the feet and the nose and the all of that. It was quite fun, but one of the things that was the best part of working on this was working like seeing how the whole community could come together to create something beautiful, to think of like we all put ourselves in the shoes of the practitioner of people that are a part of our community, but then we were even thinking of, but what if somebody had never practiced this before? How would they experience this practice? How can we write it out in a way that's very clear? And I'll just second what Mala said. It was really a blessing to work alongside you, Sadas, and everybody. But to see truly how beautiful it is to see a teacher who's really humble and humble enough to take those learnings from everybody who gave their practice feedback to Mala's gentle and sometimes not so gentle nudging, and you know, to just see the way you work, that was a huge learning for me this whole last since September. And so thank you. I'm really grateful to be a part of this.
Thank you, Tari.
Yeah.
Do we have Lakshmi ma'am here? Lakshmi Ranganathan, if she's here, no?
I think she left.
Oh, she left. Okay.
Yeah.
Jyotsna, can you share a few words, Jyotsna?
Thank you, Saras. It's a pleasure to share just a few words. Something that kept coming back to me over the last month or so since I have, with Saras working on this, looking at this, is that something that Deshkachar often reminded us about. That when there is something very beautiful and you hold it, please go on to a mountaintop and shout it out so that the whole world will receive it. I think what Saras is doing, not just with Yoga Vahini, but with all these different ventures, Deshkachar gave it to all of us. She's going up onto the mountaintop and saying, come, take it. This is good. This is beautiful. Come. She's almost drawing everybody to that space of goodness. So I'd really like to say thank you to Saras for carrying the spirit of that story. When there's something good, please go up onto the mountaintop and shout it out. Draw everybody into it. This book, I think, is very much one of those things that she's giving from the mountaintop to all of us. Just very briefly, when I was looking at it, I would urge every one of us to look carefully at the practice and to look carefully. There is a little thing there that says journaling and observations. I think that's a very beautiful addition that Saras has made, almost pushing us to see how relevant this practice is to ourselves. Otherwise, the practice itself can become very addicting and we enjoy ourselves without stopping to see what it means to us. And I think that perhaps is my takeaway from working with Saras on this, where I feel this is so important to observe, and the questions that she has put down in that space there are very beautiful. I wish for all of us to pay some attention there. Beautiful questions. Even if we don't understand them in the beginning, please stay with them a little longer. They are very beautiful. And they help us actually prod ourselves a little more to see what does this practice mean to us. And I think in that sense, this is the greatest tribute, Saras, that you can give to our teacher, Deshikachar, somebody who believed that practice, yoga, is something that is supposed to take us to relate to ourselves better. And this workbook of yours certainly holds that spirit. Every best wish. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyotsna. Vijayvasu ma'am, can you share a few words?
Ma'am, your Savitri, it's still on mute. Yeah, thank you.
A few hours, just 1 hour, 2 hours, we spent together and I learned a lot. And now from Lekha's speech, I take a very important point there. Very, very interesting. And she said journalism. Okay, journalist, what you have done that day, your practice. I think that straight takes us to tapas and swadhyayam. Every day when we write, we see where we are and we also realize where we need to go. And we do, next step we do is swadhyayam. Okay, so that is a very, very important thing that we have to do at the end of the day. I practice it in my life. At the end of the day, I see what all I did that day, what I could have avoided, what I could have added, and it gives me a different color to my actions. That was a beautiful point made by her. And I think we all have to create that habit for ourselves to write after the practice how we felt, what we felt, and what is our goal to be. That's all. Thanks, Saras. Thanks for the opportunity. Beautiful book. I'm waiting to see it, touch it. Thank you.
Sundar still in the call? Hey,
Yeah.
Sundar, can you share a few words?
I mean, you're not giving a choice. You're asking me a question, and then, all right. Well, I'm very happy that Saras has finally done, put her things down as a document. That way, I'm extremely happy. So I always believe that it's not enough if you speak, if you do, but you should also write. Especially with all this experience, it's very important to document the work. This is the beginning, though. I hope so. I hope you will write more. That's one thing. And coming to the production aspect, I'm also speaking on behalf of Ranjit. Usually, what happens, the authors and the proofreaders, the editors, all these people take all the sweet time, do their work, and finally they want the product just in 1 or 2 days. So thankfully we have somebody like Ranjit who has meticulously done this work. I want to really thank him, and who understands the nuances. It's also because he himself is also an author writer, so he can understand the mind of an author, the mind of an editor. So that way we are lucky to have somebody like him. But next time, I hope you will give a little more time, if not 2 days, 3 days, to complete the book. Thank you very much. So I'm very happy this is being released now amidst all the practitioners, yoga practitioners from different parts of the world. And thank you for including us also.
Thank you, Sundar. So, over to Lekha. Back to Lekha.
Thank you, Sundar, for reminding us that we need to be slightly more proactive in completing the book so that the team has a little more time to put it together. And so back to the book. Like I mentioned, this is the first volume, begins with tapas. The next 2 volumes will explore Swadhyaya and Ishvara Pranidhana, and hopefully will be released in the next 6 months. And together they will create a complete journey through the philosophy and practice of Kriya Yoga. And so that's the whole idea. Before I conclude, I just want to reiterate, the book is not a replacement for a teacher. Nothing can replace a teacher in our life. And the book is simply a friend who reminds you every day that every day is a good day to begin again. And whether you practiced yesterday with the focus of a yogi or you haven't touched your mat for the last 3 months, the book says it's okay, welcome, let's start again. So I really hope that there will be a lot of people who will use this book to start and nurture their practice. As far as I think Saras and the Yoga Sadhana team here, all I have to say is we are here to support that journey through these workbooks, through a program that we will build around this workbook, and through our community of teachers and practitioners. And most importantly, through our recognition that none of us walks this path alone. So thank you for being here. And I will pass it back to Aarti.
So I'll be sharing the pre-registration QR code now with you. I've already registered. I'm looking forward to get my hand on it. So all of you please register, and we'll also be sharing it via email to everyone. You can just scan the QR code and it takes you to the Google form. Just fill in your details. This is just a pre-registration form.
You will be posting this QR code in the Sangha, or
Yeah,
we have to
we'll
do a
post-
screen grab?
You can do it now. We'll also post it in the Sangha. We'll share it in all other platforms. We'll even send it via email to all the registered emails that we have received today.
Yeah. So this one, do we need to take a screenshot?
Not necessary. If you want to, you can, Mala. You can even register right away. It is just like 4 things that you have to fill. That's it.
Right.
It took me literally a minute to fill the form. Viji ma'am, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you.
How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
days will it take, Aarti, for the book to reach me? Because I'm leaving.
Okay, so we haven't yet printed the books. We gave them 2 days, so all that we got was now a digital copy that I showed you.
Ah,
We have an e-copy, but we will take a few days, maybe a week, to get the books printed.
okay.
We are hoping we can also make it available on Amazon, so anybody can
Oh,
take part of the
great.
ordering.
Great. Thank you, sir.
So this is actually for a pre-order, for people
Yeah.
to pre-order
Yeah.
copies. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we will share.
Yeah, we can. If anybody has any questions or anything you'd like to share, anyone in the community. You see some of my friends, Krishna, Kamala, all of you here. Would you like to share, Jyoti?
It's like a dream come true, Saras. For a long time, what we have been wanting, thirsty, and hungry for is coming true on a beautiful day like this. And can't wait to get hands on this and to reconnect back to the Sangha, to practice, and to really look into the inward journey. So, very grateful and thankful. And I'm so happy to be being a part of this journey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Sundar, you did it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamala.
Yeah, Saras. Congratulations, Saras. Can't wait to feel the book and read. And every time I come to India, I feel I want to take more of the learnings from all the teachers. This time it's feeling like I'm going along with you, taking the book along with me. Thank you, Saras, and congratulations, Sundar, first to you and then to Saras.
Thank you. Krishna?
Yeah, it's one of the milestones and surprise. Surprise is a surprise today. So though we know it's been soon launching, but I didn't know it is today. So I'm really thrilled and excited. And congratulations to all us. It's a new baby now. So we have to grow it further. So happy and Yeah, grateful for all the hard work behind it. And yeah, as usual, if I would have known this before, we would have done a lot of hangama about, going live, doing that and all this. But then I think, yeah, as I hear you, I get that, until yesterday we didn't had a physical copy with us. So I think we need to promote a lot to get this hard work and sadhana to take it to the world. Yeah. Anybody can practice with without even practical exploration of yoga. This is a simple book which any sadhaka can take it into their homes and do it. And as I was also hearing you, not only in English, maybe we can take it in different languages, is what I was. So simplest book which anybody can do, because there is a progression, there is the course planning, everything is clear. Why not release it in different languages?
Great idea. I think Sundar will love it because he
Yeah.
likes to get everything out in Tamil.
Correct.
Sundar.
Sure, Mala. Tamil, yes.
Telugu, yes. Kannada, yes.
Telugu, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone else? Kirti, I see your hand up.
Congratulations, Saras, and thank you so much for bringing this book. Now, I've been off the mat for a while. I wouldn't say I don't practice at all, but lately, last month, I really felt like I needed physicality and community. So I enrolled for a Zumba strength training class, and now my asana practice is to help me relax post that workout. So I kept it there, and I was also thinking about approaching someone in the team and personalizing a practice that both I and my son can do together. My son also enjoys yoga, but he is not motivated to do it alone. I'm also not motivated to do it alone these days. So I was wondering if I could figure out something for both of us. Now, my question is, can this book be of help to both of us? I mean, my son doesn't have absolutely no agenda. Na? He's open to attempt any asana and explore himself. So I thought maybe this is where we could begin at this moment. So what do you suggest, Saras? I gift a book to him also. Like, I don't know how much of journaling he would do, but he would definitely enjoy it and love it.
Ideally, I would suggest you work with one of the teachers in the community along with the book.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
so that you have somebody to go back to who can probably modify the practices. Maybe your son would need a slightly different practice from what you can do. So it will be good to work with the teacher.
Sure. Saras, yeah. Thank you.
Tarini, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I thank you. I just wanted to add that we're talking about this being our daily home practice companion, but I just want to reiterate, like for me, since having these practices and working on them and all, it's also been such a valuable guide as a teacher, like such a valuable like resource as a teacher, like so many times like I have a class I have to teach and I don't really know what to teach, or it's along the same lines, or like maybe it has a theme, and I had a couple pages that were there that I could just add one or two poses that like went along with what I needed to teach to the group, the workshop or something that I was teaching. And it's because so many times we get stuck in like offering almost the same kind of practice, and so for me it was also such a really good resource for some like what I can offer to my students as well. So I want to just also really thank you for that, because because it's our daily home practice companion, our little friend that's nudging us to get to our mat, but also it's how we can spread it to others and teach to others. Yeah. So that was something I really wanted to add. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Tarni. I think that's a very important thing because both for our own practice and also when we are teaching, to have some resource that you can go back to and work with. And based on the feedback from the whole group that did the practices, different people had different experiences with different practices. It was not even the time that it took. For some people, it was 40, some people, it was 1 hour. So it all depends on where we are and what we are able to do, what is the length of our breath, right? Many factors. So I cannot say that this is like each one is a perfect practice for you, but it is some guideline that will help us to stay on the path and explore further and be more creative with our practice and our teaching. But being consistent, that's the main thing.
I
Go ahead. Shipra, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Yeah, congratulations to all of us and Saras and Sundar for sure. Just wanted to thank you for the special book that you've come out with on this special occasion. It just seems to me like this will also help us in deepening the love bonds that we all, are connected with, and deepen our connection with the life mates, the yoga community that we have. So it's a very, very special thing, I feel, the book that has come out. And it's been, I don't know, I remember when I was doing my therapy program, I remember once sending a message to you, Saras, that please write a book soon. And it looks like it's coming true slowly. So I'm very, very happy and thankful. This morning when I woke up thinking that, okay, today is International Yoga Day, and then we are all going to meet because it's Desikachar's birthday we are celebrating. I didn't think this was a beautiful surprise that's going to be. So it's a beautiful gift for all of us. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Saras, and to the whole team. So, like Shipra was saying, it's a big, pleasant, very nice surprise. And, when you said it's a workbook, so my mind went to my school days, filling in something and a workbook and, some question written and then lines empty. And I was thinking workbook, and then it was like a practice. So I just thought and realized that, it's a workbook in the sense that we do a practice and then we journal and observe and write our observations. So yeah, just congratulations and all the best.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to have any questions or anything to share? Yes, we can come to the closing of the session. Aarti, are we missing anything?
No, ma'am. Just that we'll all register everyone. That's it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we allowed to share that registration link, like with our students and even people not amongst this community?
Yeah.
Like, are we internationally shipping it or no? Not yet.
We are planning to make it available on Amazon, so it should be available.
Okay.
So I would like to conclude by actually sharing one concern I've had for a long time. As as the whole way that we're practicing yoga has changed so much over the years. Traditionally, at least part of the Krishnamacharya tradition, we always practiced in privacy. I've never done my practice in front of other people. I've never done a practice that that's given for a group. Personally, for me, maybe sometimes I'm part of a workshop or some training program, and we will do a practice together. Apart from that, that idea of a personal practice is a very, very strong part of the Krishnamacharya tradition. To the extent that some of our senior teachers, when we talk to them about group practice, they say, "What group practice? What do you mean by group practice? How can everybody do the same practice? That doesn't exist in this tradition. Maybe for children, maybe for young adults, but not for others." So and it took a long time for me to break away from that conditioning and say, actually, people simply just need a practice to do. It may not be the perfect one for them. It may not be the most appropriate practice for them, but something that is safe enough for them to do so that they can experience their breath, they can experience and get closer to their body and really start paying attention, become aware of the mind and even the value of a daily practice. Somewhere we have to start. So group practice is really very good. And then, okay, what will I teach as a group practice teacher? Sometimes we fall into our own pattern. If we do that even with therapy classes, you take 10 files of the same teacher teaching 10 different people with 10 different problems, there'll be a lot of similarity in the practices that we teach. Yeah, because we fall into our own pattern. Now, that's also something that we have to break. And one way of doing it is actually coming together, sharing, learning from each other. So we are not just working inside a bubble. But it takes a lot of effort for teachers, at least in today's context, to come together and actually share and learn with each other. The peer learning and sharing is a very, very important aspect that I don't know how much it exists. And we're trying to cultivate that. We're trying to create that culture in Yoga Vahini by many of us coming together once a week to simply bring our course sheets and what we're teaching and talk about it. We ask each other questions. Why did you teach that? Somebody gives an idea. Maybe you can think about it like this. And that is a very rich field, to learn and grow. And this is my request and my wish and my dream for this community, that we are not just looking up to one teacher who gives a perfect practice. Nobody can give you a perfect practice. You have to make it for you. You have to make it appropriate for you. And your body, mind is changing every day, every moment. So the practice also has to go through a certain progression. It has to evolve. And the responsibility is with the practitioner to find a teacher, to work with a teacher, but also to see the whole community as teachers. Can we learn from each other and can we grow together? Can we actually open up our little bubbles and include more people in that? We are already doing that to a large extent. Maybe we do that to some extent in training programs, but once we complete training programs, I really wonder what happens. Do we go back to a teacher? Are we still working with the community of our peers to continue to learn? It is happening, I can say, but can we really bring some kind of a rigor into it, some kind of an intensity into it? That is my wish for our community. For me, just going back to my teachers and continue to learn even simple things like when I'm doing a Virabhadrasana, is my inhalation longer than my exhalation? Even for that, I need somebody to look at how I'm doing my Virabhadrasana. I've been doing it for 35 years. Doesn't make me one expert that I can see my back, I can see how my hips are aligned and all that. We need teachers, we need the community to work together. So, Maitri. How can we build that Maitri Bhavana as we work together and enjoy this journey together? So, I'll conclude with the prayer. Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone for joining today and making this event really very, very special.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.